frustrated that men never seem to have the desire to chase or pursue you? Do you wonder what it is you're even doing that is preventing them from chasing you? Here's the secret. It's because you're too nice. But on today's show, we'll discuss exactly why men will never chase if you're too nice and how you can adjust your approach so that the men will chase you like a hungry hyena. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else on the live stream, please stay here present so I know you're here present and actively participating in the show. Okay, welcome on this beautiful Monday afternoon. Maybe Monday night for you. It may be Tuesday morning for you. Either way, welcome. We're going to have a great show today. I see we got Missy America, of course, holding down our YouTube chat. We got a newbie, Nyoti, I think. We got Sweet, Teddy's here, Ivy here, one of our chat room members as well. We got Enlighten A, one of our OGs, Melina, who's like one of the OGs as well. Ashley, all of you beautiful faces. We got SH holding down the TikTok chat as well. Drummer girl Diana Sky is back once again. We got Gabby and Scotty is back once again. I remember all of you. And plenty more to join in. All right, let's get started. We will discuss along the way. So let's start with going from likable to boring, because a very easy misconception when you are someone who suffers from the disadvantage it is to be someone who wants to be nice so that you're more likable, more accepted by everyone. See, the thing is, naturally, we would all assume, okay, the more nicer you are, the more likable you are, the more people want you, the more people want to be around you, the more people want to be your friend, want to be your girlfriend, want to make you their girlfriend, all that good stuff. In reality, okay, unfortunately, that's a dream world that we don't live in. In reality, the one that we do live in, especially when it comes to men, the more likable you are, the more boring you are. Okay, I'm going to say it again. The more likable you are, the more boring you are. Okay, being too nice to men will only communicate that you are desperate because you are so concerned with being likable that you compensate by being overly nice. Okay, see, the thing about it is, as you continuously try to be overly, and when I'm talking about being nice, I'm talking about trying your best to do more things for people, specifically men in this case, to do more things for men so that they'll appreciate you and see you and want to be with you and value you. That's never going to work. Okay, we'll talk about value in a second. And I'm also talking about being too nice in the sense of being a pushover where you don't address things or confront people on the ways that they've either disrespected you, they've mistreated you, or whatever it may be that they've done to you, simply because you're too afraid to be confrontational, that he will no longer see you in the best light. He might not think you're easygoing. He might not think you're peaceful. That's a load of BS. He might not think you're peaceful. He might not think you're easy to get along with. And because of that, he might turn his head in another area. And so your constant obsession with being likable, being peaceful, not ruffling anyone's feathers, not addressing anything that bothers you, even if it really bothers you, you think people are liking you more because of that, and you're sacrificing your own feelings so that people will be more interested in you, when in reality, in the process of you bending over backwards, figuratively and literally, trying to please everyone, people only appreciate you less simply because they have a subconscious understanding that the only reason you would be so concerned with trying to please me, especially me as a man, right? And so concerned with trying to not ruffle any feathers is if I was the be all and end all of your life, is if you were desperate for my appreciation of you, for me to see the value in you, for me to like you, for me to want you, for me to want to be with you. All of that is very, very bad because it makes you very boring and uninteresting to us as men, right? The more likable you're trying to be, it only subconsciously communicates to me that you're trying to be likable because you want me to like you. But if you want me to like you, that comes from a desperate place. if you want it so badly that your life is over if I don't like you. You want it so badly that your life is over if I don't want to be with you. You need it so badly for me to want to be your boyfriend that if I don't want to be your boyfriend and I don't want to date you, then you have nothing. And all I think to myself, when you present yourself that way, even if I do spend time with you, even if I hang out with you, even if I do date you, all I think to myself is, great, this is someone I can definitely take advantage of. Great, this is someone I can definitely use. Great, this is someone that I can definitely push over because they are a pushover. Okay? And you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're fighting to be more likable when in reality, this is the craziest part. It's the craziest part. It's the craziest part. The craziest part is the more likable you try to become, the less likable you actually are. You need to understand, okay, when it comes to men especially, and the ones you're trying to build romantic connections with, you need to understand you're not going to appeal to every man. That's fine though. Nobody appeals to everyone. You're only trying to appeal to the people that you appeal to by being more of yourself. And the more you be yourself and the more you hone in on who you are as a person and be true to yourself, that confidence that you begin to develop as you continuously stay true to yourself and your morals and your values and who you are, and you don't compromise who you are for anyone else, that confidence that grows inside you begins outwardly projecting to other people. Remember how I say that the anxiety you feel and the desperation can ooze through your pores? The confidence can ooze through your pores also in the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you approach people, the way you approach situations, just your whole aura and energy will begin to shift and change. People can feel that confidence, and when they feel that confidence within you, it also tells them you must have confidence because you have value, and vice versa. Right? When you're trying so hard to be likable, when you're trying so hard to be liked by other people, especially the men that you're dating, because you want it so badly to work, because you want this relationship so badly to end up like your Disney princess movie, what ends up happening is that anxiety and that desperation begins oozing through your pores. And when the men are around you, they can smell that desperation and anxiety oozing through your pores. And it's very repulsive. Very, very repulsive. Men do not find it interesting when your whole MO, when your whole lifestyle, when everything about you is about me. Okay? When you're trying to be likable, your whole everything, your essence is me and what I want and what I need and what makes me happy. See, it sounds good in a movie where, oh, we both care about each other. So I just care about him so much and I love him so much that my whole life is just him. I just care about him so much that I literally I would just give up anything for him, and I'll do absolutely anything that sounds good in a movie. In reality, the guys don't actually like you more because you'll do absolutely anything for him and you'll throw away all your morals and values for him. They actually start thinking to themselves, wow, this is quite repulsive. Quite repulsive. And I probably shouldn't be chasing after a girl like this who has that little value. In fact, I should be using that girl while I chase after the girls with actual value. Okay, I'm not saying that to be mean to you. I just want you to understand what's really going on. And how this process and this approach of being overly nice, I want to do everything so that he'll like me. I don't want to address anything that I feel is wrong, that I feel I've been wronged, or address anything that I feel is bothering me, just so that I'll be likable and peaceful. Because the men love peace. Yeah, the men love peace. Yeah, I heard that on a TV show once, that the men love peace. So I'm just gonna be so peaceful as possible. Peace, 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 peace. And then in reality, the harder you try, right? Because you're going to be trying hard when you're in that state. You're going to be trying very hard to please him. Your whole MO, your whole essence is going to be trying to please him. He's going to see that and he's going to be like, wow, you're desperate. Wow, you're needy. Wow, you need this validation. If it doesn't come from me, you're going to fall apart because you can't even validate yourself. Okay? And I don't want that for you. So I'll give you guys an example of what I'm talking about, going from likable to boring, because it's an easy transition where you think I'm being more likable, but in reality, you're just becoming more boring. So an example of that would be a guy plans a date with you. Let me know in the chat if this has ever happened to you or if this is you. Okay, this might be some of you. A guy plans a date with you a week in advance. Then the day of, he never messages you, doesn't call you, doesn't even address the fact that you guys had a date plan. Okay. And he just completely flops on you. No words, no text, no nothing. And then a couple days after that, he goes right back to texting you like he regularly does. He goes right back to messaging you like he regularly does, sending you IG reels like he regularly does, sending you TikTok videos like he regularly does. And because you don't want to confront him, you don't want to cause problems, you want to, be peaceful and not address things, you're just like, okay, I won't say anything. Maybe he just forgot. Tell me if that's you or if that's ever happened to you, right? And that anxiety where you're just like, I guess, maybe he just got busy and he didn't remember, that, we had the thing, and then, I guess he probably just had the thing, and the thing was too much of a thing. And, he probably just, it slipped his mind. Okay. And that's one of the examples of how you can easily go from likable to boring, because I know in your mind, some of you at least, I know in your mind, you're thinking, well, it's just, it's easier to avoid the conflict, especially if it's just unnecessary. I mean, he already missed it. So why do I need to address it? Why do I need to confront him? I don't need to make a big deal out of everything. It's not that deep. You ever said that before? When it comes to issues that you have or problems that you have with the guy that you're either dating or seeing, where you start saying, it's not that deep, I don't need to address it. It's not that deep, I don't need to talk about it. It's not that deep, I don't need to bring it up. No, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's not that. That is your internal justification, because you want to be more liked, right? You want to be more easygoing. You want to be, not someone that, has to confront people or confront situations where, you might rub people the wrong way or ruffle some feathers. So you pass it off as, it's not that deep, I don't need to say anything. It's not that deep, I don't want to cause problems. It's not that deep, I don't need to discuss this. In the process of that, you become very uninteresting to men, because they grow the understanding that for everything with you, it's going to be not that deep. And you think that you're being more likable. In reality, you're just being more uninteresting. Because if I don't have any standards, rules, or boundaries to abide by, because everything is not that deep, and you're so busy being likable that you don't want to confront any of your issues, well, then I start to think to myself, I don't have to even use my brain to think about what I should or shouldn't be doing. I just do whatever I feel like doing. And I don't think about you or your wants or your needs. And you stop being, it's all a balancing act. You quickly stop being someone in which the guy who's dating you is trying to seek your approval and validation, and you're receiving him and receiving his actions and words to decide if you want to be his partner. And you start becoming the person who's seeking his approval, while he sits back and says, I don't care how you feel about anything. It doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything anyways. You don't have standards or boundaries. Even if I do cross your standards or boundaries, you're not going to say it's a standard or boundary, because you're too busy trying to be likable and non-confrontational. Okay, so we don't want that for you. I think I seen Sushili earlier says, when am I going to answer questions on the Discord? I'm going to answer questions on the Discord after we do this show. So it's at the end of the show. You gotta wait for it if you really want me to answer your question. If it's not that big a deal to you, then go do something else. But I answer all my questions at the end of the show, as many as I can get to in that show. Okay. And if you have a question for me on Discord that you want to ask me your personal situation, and you want me to give a comment or opinion on it or perspective or some advice, please, if you're on TikTok, you go into my TikTok bio. If you're on YouTube, you go down in the link in the description at the bottom. I should have pasted it on my thing, but I didn't yet. So go down in the link in the description if you're on YouTube, and you can ask your question in the relationship advice section. Okay. So First, we had being too likable. Likable to boring. Now, let's get to validation to valueless. Okay? So, you are seeking too much validation to the point where it subconsciously communicates that you are valueless because you can't stand on your own. What I mean by you can't stand on your own is that you need me to validate you emotionally, right? Spiritually, mentally, for you to feel good about yourself, for you to feel like you have value. And if I don't do that as a man, right? If I don't do that for you and validate you for you, then you don't see your own value, right? You don't appreciate or even know what your own value is. And so you begin seeking it by trying to be more likable. You see how this all plays together? As you try to be more likable, it's not coming from nowhere. It's coming from your desire to be validated by me, right? And you're hoping that in the process of being more likable, I will appreciate you more. I'll want to spend more time with you. I'll want to talk to you more. I want to make you my girlfriend, all because you're so likable. And the process of being so likable, you're only just sitting there waiting for me to eventually validate. It's a constant, right, just cycle of you just sitting there with your mouth open, hoping that I'll spill some validation in your mouth. Okay? That's what you're hoping. And the process of that will make you valueless to the men. Because eventually they say to themselves, if you can't even see your own value, if you need me to constantly tell you if you're valuable, and if you're going to literally bend over backwards and do anything you possibly can, hoping that I will eventually notice your value, then all that tells me, communicates to me subconsciously, is that you must be valueless. Because if you did have real value, you wouldn't care if I saw it or not. You'd walk around with the confidence, like I just talked about earlier, you'd walk around with the confidence oozing out of your pores that you have real value. And if you knew you had real value, you don't got to convince me to see it. You don't got to beg me to see it. You don't got to ask me to see it. You don't even have to do anything for me to see it. It would be like me walking up on you on the sidewalk, on the street, and me telling you, yo, I've got the most expensive, valuable iPad of all time. This is like the brand new iPad 85, and you just won't believe it. This iPad cost $10,000. It's diamond encrusted, this iPad, with all these other bells and whistles that you've never seen. And I say, but look, it's so valuable that I actually want to pay you to take it off my hands. What would you think of that iPad? I just finished telling you how amazing it is, but I also told you that I'll pay you to take it off my hands. And then when you're like, no, I'm like, no, please, I'll pay you $5,000 to take it off my hands. No, I'll pay you $10,000 to take it off my hands. I'll pay you $30,000 to take this iPad off my hands. You're gonna start thinking, whoa. What happened to the value of the iPad? I thought you said it's so expensive, so important, so amazing. Why would you offer me money to take this iPad from you if it really had value? Why are you trying so hard to sell me on the idea that you want to give me money to purchase your iPad so badly if it has value? It does not make sense. Okay? Right? And that's the thing, is that when you are in a state where you're trying so hard to be likable, right? Because being likable and being nice is the same thing. When you're too nice, you're trying to be likable. You're trying really hard to be likable. And we've talked about it before. Men do not like girls who try hard. As strange as it sounds, men do not like or want girls who try hard. They want the girls who barely notice them, barely give them attention, barely are interested in them. Those are the girls they chase with their mouths open, drooling like hungry hyenas. Let's just be so for real. And I'm trying to help you understand how you can elicit that out of guys, elicit that type of emotion and that type of response out of guys, but you have to understand what you're doing that's not eliciting that. Okay? When you're trying to be too likable, you're going to show him that you need that validation, and it's going to tell him in turn that you have no value, because if you had value, you wouldn't need my validation. You wouldn't be trying to pay me to purchase your iPad. Doesn't make any sense. Okay? So let me give you guys an example of what I mean when I say validation to valueless. Okay? Let's say you're dating a guy and consistently thinking about how you can do more for him, thinking that he will eventually think better of you. So let's say in the process of you dating him, right, you go on 1 date, 2 dates, 3 dates, right? Now you really like this guy. You really want this guy to like you. So now you're thinking of what gifts you can buy him, how you can call him more, how you can be more available. So you're clearing your schedule. Oh, I got work today, but you want to hang out? No, I'll take work off. I'll call in sick today. No, I'll do anything so that we can hang out. I just want to be as available as I possibly can for you. So I make it easy as I possibly can for you, hoping that you'll like me even more because I'm so available and I'm so free every time that you're free and you want to spend some time. I'm available to be with you, and it doesn't require any work or anything like that. For some of you, for some of you, you were or are in so deep, you're like doing things like buying him a PS5. Guys that you're not even in a relationship with. And when I say relationship, like you're not his girlfriend and you're buying him a PS5. Where they do that at? Okay? Where they do that at? Baby Love says it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. But I want us to discuss it here where you can feel the embarrassment instead of, God forbid you go to that GameStop store or open up Amazon and you purchase him a PS5, hoping that that's going to help him appreciate you more or see you more, or actually see how much of a girlfriend you are because you spend your money on him and buy him a PS5 and you scrub the floor like a good old maid. That's not going to help him see you more. That's not going to help him appreciate you more. That's not going to help him pursue you or chase you. It's actually going to make him sit back, relax, and chill out. Okay? I want us to be very clear. Melita says that's like having a child. You're the mom. It's true. And some of you are the mom. Some of you are in that position where you're playing the mom role or some sort of caretaker role, hoping that eventually the process of you being such a good caretaker of him, that he will eventually see you and appreciate you and want to pursue after you. The guys open their mouths wide and have their tongues out chasing around like dogs the women who aren't paying any attention to them. I know it sounds toxic. I know it sounds backwards. I know it sounds stupid, but I have to be real with you if I want to help you get the response that you want to get. Okay? And I think that the more that we discuss like this, the more that we sit down and have these open discussions back and forth, you gain some knowledge and understanding of how men think and how they operate. It will help ease your own anxiety when you're dating men, because you'll know what the best approach is. And it'll also help ease your anxiety because you'll be able to like actually sit back, relax, knowing that when you do less, you'll actually get more. Because I know for a lot of you, when you're in the relationship, because it's easy, you guys aren't in love with me. At least some of you aren't. Maybe some of you are in love with me and you love everything that I do. Okay. But for those of you who aren't in love with me, it's very easy for us to talk about what you should or shouldn't do now when you're not as invested in me, but invested in the situation. But when you're with a guy that you're actually in love with, or you really like, or you really want this to work, you might find yourself pushing and pushing, or having that anxiety where you're like, oh my God, I haven't done anything. I haven't said anything. I don't think I'm doing enough. I need to be doing more. If I'm not doing more, then maybe he's not gonna see me. If I'm not doing more, then maybe he's not gonna be interested in me. If I'm not doing more, then maybe he's gonna stop liking me. If I'm not doing more, maybe he's gonna start looking at another girl's dump truck. No. If he likes you, if he's interested in you, let him cook. His interest will grow and develop over time as you sit back and relax. I seen someone talk about this in my comments on YouTube. I read a lot of the comments, basically all the comments on YouTube, okay? And someone was like, well, this technique or this strategy only works if the guy already likes you. or if the guy has feelings for you, or if the guy, wants you. And I was thinking to myself, I didn't respond, but I was thinking to myself, well, yeah, because that's actually the position that majority of you are in. It's not that you're so unattractive or repulsive that guys would never be attracted to you or want you. Some of you have nice, pretty faces. Some of you have amazing dump trucks. Some of you have voluptuous yitty. Some of you have all three of those. Okay. So attracting men is not your problem. They'll whack off to you. You look good. That's not your issue. Your issue is your approach, because when you like a guy, you feel the need, right, to do more so that he'll like you more. And ironically, as soon as you're in that state of trying to get him to like you more and doing more, all those guys that you really like, that you really want to be with, end up liking you less. And they end up pulling back from you because they don't need or want you to do more in order to get them to like you or appreciate you or pursue you. They actually want you to do less so that they can have the room to pursue you and chase after you. You understand what I'm saying? Right? They called me, Yuki said something very interesting that I actually want to bring up because it just brought up a really interesting idea in my mind. Okay. I know that most of you, some of you might be, some of you are actually, I know that for a fact based on my Discord messages. Most of you aren't OF girls. You should know what I mean when I say OF. Tell them in the chat for those who don't know what OF I'm talking about. Okay. Imagine if you were an OF girl, right? And you're on cam and these guys are thirsting for you, whacking off all day to you. You're not going to be there talking about, oh my God, when are we going to go? I want you so badly. I want to be with you. Why didn't you call me? You're not going to be needy if you're an OF girl, because you want to present them with the fantasy that they are chasing after you. They want you. They're so desperate and hungry for you. They'll do absolutely anything. And you continue keeping them in the space of just getting barely enough of your time, right? That they continue investing their money and chasing after you, hoping that the more money they spend will get them just a little bit more time. That hopefully one day in a magical universe, you'll eventually be their girlfriend. Okay? I say that not because you guys are OF girls. I say that because I want you to understand the concept can be applied even to your regular guys. Okay? In eliciting that type of emotion out of them, where they're just like hungry hyenas, just like, if I could ma'am, if I could just get a little bit more of your time, please. Just spare me just a little bit more of your time. Your dump truck is so huge. Your yitties are so voluptuous. I would just love for just a moment, just a second more of your time. And you can have that. Okay. But it's all about your approach. So we talked about likable to boring. We talked about validation to valueless. Okay. This is going to sound mean. It's supposed to sound mean so that you can actually grow from this. Let's talk about point number 3, which is peasant energy. Okay. You've heard things like princess treatment, queen energy, queen vibes, whatever vibes. Okay. Let's discuss something called peasant energy. Okay. See, the thing about it is, as you try your best to be nice and likable, non-confrontational, so that everyone will want you and want to be with you, and nobody will have a problem with you, that they'll all want to be around you. You actually let out a lot of peasant energy. Why? Because you communicate to people in the process of them learning, growing, and understanding you, because every man that you meet in a romantic sense is going to be learning, growing, and understanding you as a human being. You show him that you will let anything slide just simply because you don't want to confront a situation, ruffle any feathers, or make anything uncomfortable that he might possibly not want you or want to be with you anymore. The problem with that is when you do that, you let go a lot of peasant energy. Because a peasant is someone who allows themselves to get stepped on over and over and over again and doesn't say a word. Because a peasant doesn't even see themselves as valuable enough that they even feel it's necessary or they deserve to speak up for themselves. They believe truly in their mind that they are below, that they are less than, which is why they allow those who they believe are above them to mistreat them, to disrespect them, to do whatever it is they want to them, because they don't believe they have a place in society where they should have the cojones, where they should have the spine to speak up for themselves. It's like a subconscious belief that manifests itself physically, which is like basically all your beliefs, right? That manifests itself physically, where your internal belief, right? Even if you're not really thinking this, it's a subconscious belief that someone is better than me, or someone should, what I feel or think doesn't matter because my value is less than yours, right? My importance is less than yours. And so because my importance is less than yours, if I have an issue that needs to be addressed, if I have a problem that I want to address, if I have something that I need to confront you about, an issue that I have, a way you've crossed my boundary, right? Something, anything like that, it doesn't really matter because the things that are important to me or the things that are done to me or the issues that I have will always be below anything that you want. And where does that come from? It's a subconscious feeling that you're better than me. You're more important than me. What you think and want takes over everything else that I could possibly think or want. I am not my own person. I'm like an empty shell of a human, just in body alone. But my mind will shift and morph to whatever it is that you want or need at that time. I don't have any individual thoughts of my own. I don't have any individual opinions or perspective of my own. I just think and feel exactly what you want me to think and feel, much like a peasant would. Do you think a peasant's going to talk back to the king? Do you think a peasant is going to address when he's been disrespected? Do you think a peasant's going to even address or confront a king or a knight who stole from him? No. A peasant's going to sit there and take it because a peasant doesn't even think it's their place to speak up for themselves. I'm sorry to tell you like this. I know it hurts your feelings, but it's the honest truth. And for some of you, you're walking around with this peasant energy. It oozes through your pores. It's very gross. It's very gross. Very gross. Okay. And I know you're thinking to yourself, so does that mean that no guys will ever talk to me or no guys will ever like me if I have peasant energy? Well, guys will still talk to you. Guys will even probably be in a relationship or a situationship with you. But in the process of them being in that with you, they'll take advantage of you. Because I'll be the first one to tell you as a guy, it's not necessarily that you see a girl with peasant energy or that needs validation and you say to yourself, oh, I don't want that girl because she's seeking validation. Oh, I don't want that girl because she's got peasant energy. That's not necessarily what we say. Actually, what we really say, and this is what guys will probably never admit to, what we really say to ourselves a lot of the time is, oh, she needs validation. Oh, she has peasant energy. Oh, she needs me in order to feel like she has any sort of value. So now if I get with this girl, or if I get into like a little situation, a little thingy thing with this girl, I can get her to do whatever it is I want her to do. I can take advantage of her. I can literally dangle in front of her the carrot of like a relationship, or I can tell her or convince her of anything. I can sell her a dream, even if it doesn't make sense. She'll believe anything I have to sell because she wants so badly to be with me. That is so much power that I can actually be with someone or that I don't have to give anything to while receiving everything I possibly can for myself. And they start thinking to themselves, this would be super advantageous for me because while I chase after the girls that I really want, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth here. Okay. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. They say to themselves, while I chase after the girls I really want, my dream girls, or the girls that will never look my direction or aren't very interested in me, I will spend time with the peasant girls that need my validation and look up to me and will never, speak up for themselves. I will spend my time with those girls, knowing that I don't have to actually give anything up to be with those girls while I receive everything I possibly can from those girls. Okay? Because it'll make me feel good. I'll get pleasure out of it. I'll also get an ego boost out of getting everything I want from someone that is desperate for me. I'll take that confidence that I receive from the peasant woman, and I'll go and I'll give that to my dream girl when I chase after her. That's the process. So I don't want you to think that just because a guy entertains you or tries to get with you, that means that, oh, you don't have peasant energy. That, oh, the guys would never deal with the girl who has the guys. The guys have pineapples with the girls with peasant energy too. And they also realize that they can use and take advantage of the girls who have peasant energy. And I don't want you to just think, oh, you're such a bad girl because saying bad girl just feels weird to me. I don't want you to think that, oh, you're such a bad girl because, you want the validation and things like that. And it's only girls that do it, because in reality, the guys do it also. And I'm sure for most of you, like I said, you're attractive women. So it's not like you have a problem attracting guys. It's just you have a problem attracting the guys you really want. But I say that to say you've come across peasant energy men as well. The guys who are just so desperate for your time. They'll message you 8 times in a row. They'll double, triple, quadruple text you. They'll message you every day, all day, call you all the time, ask you out every single day. You'll deny him every day and he'll ask you out every single day. And they'll just like, what do you want me to do? You want me to send you money? You want me to buy you gifts? You want me to take you this? What is it that you want me to do? And the more that they try to do, you just say to yourself, I don't really like it. It's kind of repulsive. If I do entertain you, it will only be for my amusement, one, or for the fact that I'll just take advantage of you, go on a nice dinner, get some nice pictures, see what I can get out of you. Okay, so I say that to say it's very similar to what you also experience. It's not just a man thing, and it's not just a woman thing, right? It's an everyone thing, but I want to point it out to you so you can see how it affects you, especially in the relationships with the guys that you actually want to be with. Okay, that is a lot of the problem. When you actually want to be with the guy, all of the strategies, all of the thoughts, everything goes out the window, and all you can focus on is your emotions and how you feel. And those emotions and feelings become so overwhelming that you start doing everything wrong when it comes to creating more attraction and desire. Right. And when you start doing everything wrong, the guys approach you and respond to you differently, because they're like, oh, don't like you as much now based on what you're doing. Don't value you as much now based on what you're doing. Don't really want to be with you as much now based on what you're doing. OK. Sky says this new guy did that. I finally gave him a chance. Then he backpedaled when he chased me first. It's really true. And it's one of those things too. I talked about this in a previous show where I talked about the bait and the switch, in terms of how men will bait you into chasing them. And they'll start off by chasing you. Then when you actually start liking the guy, that's why this is such a delicate, we're going to be talking about this for many, many, many shows. That's why this is such a delicate balance, because it's all about the approach. The emotional, the spiritual, all of that's the energy, right? Because as soon as you start liking a guy, that is when your approach changes and you stop thinking about anything other than how you feel. Okay, there's nothing wrong with feelings, but they take over your ability to think logically and rationally, and you just start doing things that make people less interested in you. Okay, and the more we can talk about that and identify that and discuss that, the better you will be at controlling that, so that you can actually go out into a relationship with a guy you actually find interesting and like, and then you can actually elicit the response of him liking you back and liking you even more. Okay, Lily says that once you admit you like him, he bounces. It's funny how that works. Okay, it's funny how that works. As soon as there's no mystery, as soon as there's nothing to pursue, as soon as there's no more desire, they stop being interested. All of a sudden, they're not ready to chase anymore. All of a sudden, they're not there to pursue anymore. Okay. ABC123 in the YouTube chat says, ladies, remind yourself that you're worthy of a man that will go to hell and back just to get a high from you. Right. It's true. You guys can elicit those type of responses out of men. I don't want you guys to think that the only girls that can elicit those type of responses out of men are IG models and OF girls or supermodels. Okay, you can do that too, but it's all about the approach, and the way you view yourself is definitely going to change the way men approach you. Because if you think you're not worthy of that, of a man wanting to crawl on glass and sniff your butthole, then you won't receive that. But trust you me, there will be other girls who receive that. And it really, truly has nothing to, I always tell you guys, it doesn't have anything to do really with your dump truck or your voluptuous yitties. Okay, it's not really about that. Okay, having a bigger dump truck's not going to make the guys really want you that much more. Yeah, they might get H'd up when they see you. Yeah, they might message you, and they might initially talk to you because of that, but that's not what's going to keep them interested. That's not what's going to keep them pursuing you, truthfully. You can have a huge dump truck and the men meet you and they stop pursuing you immediately. Okay? Did someone say? Someone said Tom is giving Zaddy vibes. Can't wait for the, what did that say? That say the hair? Can't wait. Oh, sorry. Can't wait for the gray hairs to start growing. No gray hairs for a long time. No gray hairs for me. I mean, I shave, so I shouldn't get no gray hairs for a while. I'm young too. I mean, like, you know, on a adult scale, I'm young. You know, I would like to think I'm not gonna grow gray hairs for a while. Okay, so we talked about likable to boring. We talked about validation to valueless. We talked about peasant energy. Okay. Next, let's talk about painless. Okay. I know this one kind of makes no sense in the title. See, you have to understand, I know that naturally, when you think about love, you think about positive emotions. Okay. I love someone. I feel good about them. I love someone. I want to be with them. I love someone. I miss them. I love someone. I care for them, right? All of these positive emotions. The thing that I've been trying to help you guys kind of reimagine is the idea that the way someone falls in love with you is by only feeling positive emotions. I want us to get out of the thinking that the only way to get guys to love you, want you, and appreciate you is to make him feel positive emotions. It's actually not that. And actually, if you're only making a guy feel positive emotions, it's going to feel very painless to him. This is where the problem comes in with being too nice. Because I want you, and answer for me this in the chat, all you beautiful people. I want everyone to answer this question. Tell me, the guys you like the most, would you say they gave you the most anxiety or the least anxiety? Tell me in the chat. The guys that you liked and wanted to be with the most, wanted to spend all your time with, you were so in love with, you just were obsessed with, did they give you the most anxiety or did they give you the least anxiety? I want everyone to answer that for me in the chat and then we'll discuss, okay? Sky says most, Scotty says most, Dinah says most, Mahad says most. I see a lot of people saying most. BJ in the YouTube chat says most. Melita says most as well. Once Upon a Time says most. Someone else, your name's in Chinese, I wish I could read it, or is it Japanese? Says the most, right? But it's so toxic. So literally everyone's saying the most. The reason I asked that question is because I want you all to see, and look at everyone's messages. I want you all to see how the process of you liking and being interested in someone is literally correlated with the men who are giving you the most anxiety or pain. You see how that works? Very interesting. It's very interesting that we operate like that as humans. Literally nobody said, oh, the guy I like the most, that I wanted the most, he gave me the least anxiety. So he gave me the least amount of pain. Okay? It's funny how we're only able to elicit strong feelings for someone through not just intense positive emotions, but intense negative emotions as well. Okay? And see, the thing about it is, when you're too nice, when you're trying too hard to be so likable, you become this, how can I describe it? You become this edgeless, round figure that doesn't make him feel anything. You're nice, which is nice, and that's positive, but you're just nice. That's it. And the thing about it is, when that's it, when that's all you make someone feel is, yeah, you're nice, you're good, you're cool, you're chill, they don't end up actually becoming emotionally invested in you. Because the process of becoming emotionally invested in someone actually requires pain as well as positive emotions. It's very strange, but as you can see when I ask the question, there's some sort of correlation there between the amount of pain you feel with someone in that relationship and the amount of investment you feel in that person. Okay? And so subsequently, the graph works in an inverse way as well, meaning that if the men who you like the most and wanted to be with the most gave you the most pain and anxiety, vice versa, the men you like the least and you wanted to be with the least and you were uninterested in gave you the least pain and anxiety. So if we now flip that onto men, if you're overly nice and you're a pushover, you don't address things, you're so busy trying to be likable, that's going to lead to you being someone who gives them no pain, no anxiety, doesn't make them feel anything except the fact that you're nice, you're cool, you're chill. Okay? Mihad said, so pain is good. Pain is definitely good. Anxiety is definitely good. I've talked to you guys about anxiety before and the different ways you can elicit anxiety by staying off the cell phone. Okay? Right? Because guys get anxious too if you're not talking to them or they feel like you might be a little bit uninterested in you. Think about the idea of when the guy's, going down his flower bloom and he's picking a dandelion and he's saying, she loves me not. She loves me not. She loves me, what emotion do you think that actually is? That is pain. I know we think, oh, but that's love. That's the fact that he wants to be with us. No, that is pain. That is anxiety, right? Because if I knew that she loved me, I wouldn't be going back and forth. And the fact that I have to go back and forth and debate myself and try to convince myself or ask myself questions that, does she really want to be with me or is it just all a sham? Am I overthinking this? Does she not want the same thing that is painful? That is painful. And when you're overly nice, when you're trying to be too likable, you become an empty shell, which it no longer serves him any form of pain. And as we've identified, pain is associated with that emotional investment that men and you have when you actually start to like someone and grow feelings for them, which is why the men can't chase or pursue you if you're too nice. Okay. Anna says, how do we give him pain? I've talked to you guys before about how to give a man pain and anxiety and things like that in my other videos about how to get a guy to pursue you. So I don't want to go too deep into this on this show. I want to focus on the topic at hand. Okay. So when you become too painless, have any of you ever I love watching SpongeBob, okay? I'm the SpongeBob fanatic. When I'm with one of my kids, I'll still be watching SpongeBob even if I'm 50 years old. Have you guys ever seen that episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob, he gets tired of having holes? So he goes to some procedure where he takes off all his holes. He has no more edges and he's just round. He's not even square anymore. He's like a round, shiny sponge with no edges, and he's just solid, right? There's no blemishes on him. And he starts talking different. He's like, hey Squidward, nice to see you today, right? He's got no energy. Usually he's like up and down. He's animated. He's not animated. He's just like, hey Squidward, nice to see you today. Great weather we're having, huh? Yeah. I love looking at the Krusty Krab. This is awesome. Yeah. Right. And eventually his best friend Patrick, I know I'm going deep into SpongeBob lore here, but eventually his best friend Patrick, he's like, yo, SpongeBob, like, you're super boring. Like, I don't even want to be your friend anymore. Like, you're just so uninteresting. Right. And he was thinking when he would be round with no edges and no character anymore, that he would be more likable to everyone because no one would have a problem with him. And in reality, everyone around him, that was kind of the theme of the whole of the episode. Eventually, he realized that everyone around him was like, "Yo, SpongeBob, we like you like as you are. Even the parts of you that we don't like, we actually appreciate that you're like a human being that is different." And the fact that you're just this empty shell, just this round sponge that, you know, never tries to upset anyone and is always just trying to be absolutely likable as possible, actually makes you very uninteresting and boring to all of us. And none of us really like you this way. We'd rather have the animated, happy-go-lucky, loud sponge that we're used to, not this round, you're just so boring now. Okay? Matt said, yes, when SpongeBob became normal. Yeah, that's the episode where SpongeBob becomes normal. Right. And I just want you, the reason I give that example is because I want you guys to see how when you become this empty shell that is so nice, so likable, people end up saying to themselves, I actually don't like you at all. Okay. And especially when we're talking about being romantic with someone, there's no pain associated to you. And people start saying to themselves, well, I don't have any investment into you because you don't make me feel anything intensely. Sure, I might like you. I might like spending time with you. Sure, you're nice, but I don't feel that intense anxiety or pain that I would regularly associate with someone I'm deeply in love with. And so they're not going to be in love with you. So they're not going to chase you. They're not going to have strong feelings for you. Nothing. Okay. I'm going to give you guys another example as it relates more closely to dating someone. But let's say you're dating a guy and, did I do an example for peasant energy? I did. I wanted to do my example for peasant energy. It's okay. We'll skip ahead to painless. So the example for painless, a guy you're dating, never thinks about you while you're away because you're just nice. Nothing different to think about. You text him whenever he texts you. You text him as soon as he texts you. You call him. You answer. You pick up the call on the first ring. You never want to do anything to upset him. If you have a problem, you don't address it. And so I know that you're thinking he likes you more, but in reality, the lack of pain that he feels towards you, he's never in a state where he's like, she loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not. He knows exactly how you feel, exactly what you want, exactly how much you like him, exactly how much you want to be in a relationship with him, right? And it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't feel. You're just there. You're existing. You're like round SpongeBob. You're SpongeBob normal. You're SpongeBob normal pants. Okay? Right? Does that make sense? Someone said cue the rent for peasant energy. So the example that I had for peasant energy, I'll let you guys know the example so you guys get all the information. So the example I had for peasant energy, let's say I forgot our date. So instead of, let's say when I forgot the date, I forgot to text you that I was busy or doing something. I just didn't even acknowledge the fact that we had planned a date. And, I never messaged you or called you on the day of the date. And let's say now, because you don't want to address things, you don't call me out on the fact that I just totally abandoned our date. You don't confront it. You don't want to be mean. You don't want to address it, whatever. And then the next time we plan a date now, you're the one calling and texting me all day and every day leading up to it to remind me, telling me, hey, you said we're going to go out on a date this day. Hey, are you ready? Hey, are you okay? Hey, are you this? Are you that? Are you this? Are you that? Right? And you're chasing after me. Excuse me. Hoping that I won't forget about our date. When in reality, I'm a grown man. And if I really wanted to go out on a date with you and I planned one with you, I'd remember that date. And the fact that rather than addressing the problem or the issue that you have with me, you've went ahead and tried to do more so that I can end up on this date with you because you want this so badly to work and you don't want to cause any problems, it actually ends up hurting you in the long run because it only shows me, in that example that I gave, it only shows me that I don't have to remember anything. I don't have to be held accountable to anything. If I don't remember to take you out on a date when I said we were going to go out on this date and you're sitting here, let's say I say, oh yeah, we're gonna go to the amusement park, and you're sitting there with like your cotton candy in your hand and your chocolate chips and all your water bottles and stuff like that, ready to go to the amusement park, and I just don't message you. You're gonna be looking like an idiot. You're gonna be looking like an idiot, and I don't want that for you. Okay, Steph says started a stranger, gonna continue being a stranger. Okay, good. You guys are growing some spine here, some backbone. Okay, right? Or just block them. Someone says you could. If you know you have an addiction to checking their stuff, you block them, right? Shelly Anna says I'm scarce and some men still don't chase. I don't tell them a lot of my business. They just assume they have figured me out. I don't reach out. They seem infatuated at first and then it dies down. See, here's the thing. Shelly Anna, and I want all of you to understand this and listen to this. See, I never want you to have anxiety about guys wanting to be with you. Okay? The reason I say that is as soon as you start thinking with the mindset that, oh, no matter what I do, sometimes these guys just get uninterested in me, that's fine. That doesn't mean that guys won't obsess over you. Some of these guys will come along, they'll be super heavy, super into you for a couple of days, couple of weeks, and then it'll die off. But I don't want you to be so focused on what did I do or what did I not do, right? That you start convincing yourself that the only way to keep a man or the only way to keep him interested is to do more, because it's a very horrible, horrific trick that your mind plays on you, especially for you as women, because anytime a guy loses interest in you, which could be for a variety of different reasons, much of which might have absolutely nothing to do with you. He could have an ex that he's still talking to, that he works with and he's seen, and he's like, damn, I'm not over my ex, right? Like there could be so many different situations and circumstances which a guy might lose interest in you or just fall, maybe like the intensity of the relationship falls off a cliff, whatever, just fizzles out. And a lot of times you want to blame yourself or be like, what did I do? What did I say? Why do you not like me anymore? Right? And then you take that anxiety into your next relationship or situationship with a new guy. And you're like, oh my God, as soon as I feel that he's not interested in me anymore, or he's a little bit less interested than he was at the beginning, I'm going to start doing more and hurry up. Oh my God, wait, where's my sponge? Where's my sponge and my broom? Let me start scrubbing the floor and showing you how good of a wife I am. Let me put on my maid outfit. Can you see how I scrub the floor and I cook dinner at the same time? What do you want? Do you want ravioli? Do you want pasta? Do you want fettuccine alfredo? What do you want to eat? Which one do you? I'll make ice cream from scratch. I'll make cheese straight from the cow. I'll slaughter the cow so that we can eat together. I'll make Wagyu steak. Which one do you want? And then every relationship for you after that just becomes that, where you're thinking how you can, use 8 hands and 8 legs and 25 mouths and, have the most amazing Squirtle to prove to him that he shouldn't lose interest in you. And then the guys just end up losing interest in you anyways. And then the next guy you think, okay, I got to do even more so that he'll not lose interest in me. And it becomes a vicious cycle when in reality, all you have to do is do nothing. The guys that are interested in you and really want you, they will chase hard. And that's where you want to be in a position where the guy that you're in a relationship with is chasing and pursuing you hard. Don't worry yourself about the guys who aren't prepared to do that. Some guys are microwave men. Some guys don't want to do anything hard. That's fine. Okay? Don't worry about those guys. Focus on yourself, and the guys who are hungry hippos for you, they will chase after you like a hungry hippo. Okay? So, I talked about likable to boring. I talked about value to valueless. I talked about peasant energy, being painless, giving him no pain. Now, obviously, let's talk about desire, because desire plays a very large role in this, and why being way too nice is never going to allow him to chase. I really want you guys to let's lay down what it really means to be in a state of desire. Because I feel like when everyone hears desire, it's kind of like chase. Everyone has their own different opinions or thoughts about what it means to chase and things like that. The same thing with desire. When people hear desire, they think a lot of different things. I want us to come to an understanding about the state of desire, that we can really understand what it is we're trying to get to and how it is we're going to elicit that. I need you to understand the state of desire can only be present in a place where something is not present. Let's rewind so you can hear that again. I need you to pay attention. The state of desire can only be present in a place where that thing is not present. One more time, the state of desire can only be present in a place where that thing is not present. Why? Because I cannot desire it if it is available to me readily right now in front of me. How can I possibly desire something that I have? It does not make any sense. I can only desire something that I do not have or I want more of. Okay? The reason I need to set that groundwork and us to come to that understanding is because that's what's going to allow you to understand how you should be presenting yourself in a way that allows him to desire you. This is why I always say less is more, because the more that you do, the less desirable that you become. Because like I just said, he can't desire what is already available to him. If I tell you, come over to my house, come over, I want you to sleep over at my house, not in no weird way. I just say, yo, we cool. You one of the Players Club members, come sleep over at my house. We having a sleepover. I'm like, yo, come downstairs. Yo, you can have anything you want to eat in my kitchen. Yo, I got the fridge stocked up. I got all the cupboards stocked up. All these amazing snacks. We got fruit gushers. We got fruit roll up. We got apple pie in the fridge. We got pumpkin pie. We got carrot cake. We got chocolate cake. Anything your heart desires. We got cereal. We got anything you could possibly want is in this kitchen. You can have whatever you want on the stove, in the cupboards, in the fridge, except this one thing. And I look you in your eyes and I tell you, you can eat anything in my kitchen, but you better not dare touch the chocolate chip cookies on top of the refrigerator. If you touch my chocolate chip cookies, it's going to be very, very bad. Anyways, have a good rest of your day. I'm going to go out to Walmart and do some little errand shopping, and then I'll see you later. And I leave you there in my house. Okay? While there might be so many different options to choose from, so many things that you could possibly stuff your face with in my kitchen, what is the one thing that your mind is going to be thinking about the moment I step foot outside of that door? Your mind is going to be thinking about those chocolate chip cookies on top of the refrigerator, despite the fact you have literally anything your heart desires in that kitchen. And you're going to start thinking, I wonder why he doesn't want me to have those chocolate chip cookies. You're going to start looking at them. You're going to start analyzing them. You're going to start seeing, I wonder if he'll notice if I take one, or what kind of strategy could I use to replace one of those cookies with a cookie already in the cupboard so he won't notice that I took one, or, so I can just sneak one. I got to see what is the reason he doesn't want me to have those chocolate chip cookies. And the reason I give you that example is because you see how desire was only present for the thing that you couldn't have. All the other foods and snacks and refreshments, drinks, and everything that was available to you, that you could have as much as you wanted, in as much quantity as you wanted it, anytime you wanted it. You didn't even think about those things. You didn't desire any of those things. The only thing you could even desire was the chocolate chip cookies that you could not have. And that is what I want you each to understand. When you're too nice, when you're trying so hard to be likable, you're going to do things like be always available. You're going to do things like text him 24/7. You're going to do things like answer all his calls all the time and drop everything you're doing just to be there for him. because you want him so badly to like you. You're going to start scrubbing the floor and cooking dinner at the same time, trying to grow a third hand so that you can do 3 things at once. Okay? And all of that availability, all of that lack of scarcity will prevent him from being able to desire you. Because in the process of being mean, in the process of being, because the meanness and is the scarcity, it's the same mindset. In the process of being mean, in the process of being scarce, in the process of being unavailable to him, that is the only time he will be able to desire you. All the time that you spend trying to do more, trying to try your hardest, trying to show him how much of a great, amazing wife you'll be, and trying to, scrub the floor while you wash the dishes and while you cook the dinner, is only going to show him how badly you want to be liked or accepted. And it's going to prevent him from actually wanting to pursue and chase you. It's also going to prevent him from desiring you. Because like we just stated in the example, desire can only exist and be present where something is not. Okay? First class ticket to being uninteresting and boring if you're trying to focus on being the most likable, easygoing, peaceful person ever. Nobody likes that, including men. Nobody's attracted to that, including men. That's why nice girls will always finish last, and mean girls will get chased after and their booty hole sniffed, because men love to worship women who barely like them. I don't know how to tell you that in a nice way. The men love to worship women who don't and barely like them. Like a sliver of hope. That's what they want. A sliver of hope, literally. Okay, so do you guys have any questions about what you... Oh, someone said the TikTok live ended. Did the TikTok live end? Aw, I wasn't paying attention. Let me reinstate the TikTok live. Should just take me a second. Okay. So does any of you have sorry about that. Guys, TikTok's always such a weird place. Do any of you have any questions about what we just discussed here today? Okay, as it relates to our topic of why men will never chase if you're too nice. Okay, so my apologies to those of you on TikTok. I didn't read my notification where it was talking about inactivity. Yeah, my apologies. Okay, so I put it back. It should be back up now. You guys should be able to join again now. Right. So we talked about likable to boring. We talked about validation to valueless. We talked about peasant energy, and we talked about being painless. And then we talked about desire. Melissa says, what do you think about cooking and cleaning when you're married? See, this is the thing. I know I talk very passionately. I don't ever want you guys to think that, to take anything I say to an extreme. So what I mean by that is you should be able to cook and clean for your man. Okay. That's for your boyfriend or the person that you're married to. Like, let's be for real. Okay. I'm not saying you should never do anything for your partner. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the mindset of, especially at the beginning, trying to do more, thinking that doing more is going to help him see you more and want to be with you more. That's the wrong mindset. That's not how that works. And actually, you should be trying to do less until he shows you that he's ready to commit to you and really wants to take you serious and take the relationship serious. Then you can start, putting your part in and doing things like cooking and cleaning. But I don't think that you need to be, doing everything you possibly can for him before he's even committed himself to you. Does that make sense, Melissa? Right? So cooking and cleaning is perfectly fine especially if you're married. Like, come on. Tado says crawl on glass and sniff crawl on glass and sniff your butthole. Tado. That's what the men will do when they worship you. Okay. Amy says, when is it in the TikTok chat says, when is it okay to give away Squirtle? Never. No, I'm just joking. This is the thing. I always tell you guys, it's dependent on the frequency in which and time you're spending with someone. Right? You could be spending, you could go a year talking to someone and only see them for 4 or 5 days total in that year. You could be, dating someone for 3 months and see them every single day for the 3 months. And so that's drastically going to change how much you'll get to know the person in those 3 months, in that time frame, depending on how frequently you guys are seeing each other. Also, depending on how much quality or lack of quality is in that time you're spending together. Because I could be dating someone for 3 months and every day we hang out, or every time we hang out, we go to the club and we listen to loud music around a bunch of friends where we're never really connecting on an emotional, individual level. Vice versa, we could also spend 2 months together and every single time we hang out, it's like no stimulus except us being in a quiet, dark room, just talking to each other about our deepest, darkest feelings and emotions. You're obviously going to get to know someone on a way deeper, emotional and intimate level in that scenario versus being with someone that you just go out to the club with and, drink alcohol with. You get what I'm saying? So when we're talking about giving away Squirtle, you have to be, I always want you guys to focus on the quality of time that you're spending together and focus on being able to see someone in a plethora of different circumstances and situations. So when they're mad, when they're sad, when they're upset, when they're stressed out, okay, when they got things going on in life, okay, don't just be seeing someone when they're happy and everything's going good and assuming that your relationship will be happy and good because of that. You need to, especially when someone's angry, you need to have a sense of what your relationship looks like when someone's angry with you. And so a lot of times guys will reveal themselves to you when they're angry, or how they truly feel about you when they're angry. And you'll realize some things that maybe you didn't realize when it was just a nice, fun dinner date. Okay, does that make sense? Right? Jacqueline says, I told my ex I hated him, but I don't. My question is, I end things indefinitely for telling him that? Did I end things indefinitely? Well, that requires a little bit of nuance, Jack. I think that question's a little bit better served in the Discord, which we're going to hop into momentarily. Okay, actually, let's hop into it right now. It's Discord time. 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 I'm gonna get a sponsorship soon, but for right now, it's free Discord time. It's Discord time. Time for those of you who had a question for me to get your questions answered and be free of confusion. Okay? It's Discord time. Let's hop into the Discord right now where we can discuss some things. Okay? So let me pull this up. Okay. We got a lot to discuss today, so you better buckle up because, it's always whenever look at this. We got a lot. We got a lot. Oh my God, we got a lot. Okay, let's get right into it. Let's get right to it. Okay. So first things first, we got Firebird. Firebird's question: 4 kids, 4 baby mamas, but I still want him. This how we're starting off on Monday? Oh, okay. Okay, I just saw we're starting it off on Monday. All right. Okay. Hey, Tomisin, thank you for all you do. I know it takes a lot of time and energy. You quite welcome. Okay, let's see how we can solve your situation, Firebird. I met this guy at a church. You said church event. Huh. I met this guy at a church event. We'll just call him Juan. Initially, upon meeting him, I wasn't tripping off him. He's good looking. I just didn't see him like that. Okay. Over the course of 6 months, he makes his interest obvious with the simplest things like touching my arm to say hello or holding a hard stare whenever I'm in the room. Okay. I love when guys are super assertive and make their interest clear like he did. Thought you didn't like this guy or you were cool off him. Well, kinda. After 6 months of this, he finally asked for my number. I made him work for it, but gladly gave it to him. The very next day, he started texting me hard. But I told him straight up, I'm not a big texter. He understood, kept things light, and backed off. But he still seemed to be interested because he went to a leader in my church and expressed how he wants to properly pursue me. Okay. He's new to the church, so I guessed he wanted to make sure he's doing it the right way. Sounds kind, I guess. Okay. Fast forward 1 month later, and after receiving advice from the church leader of just being friends, we only talk at church. Damn, the church leader must got a grudge against you. That's kind of some hater stuff right there. And he only texts me here and there, mainly at night, oddly enough. But I told him men don't exist to me after 10 p.m. That's actually pretty funny. I like that. I like that saying. I never text him first, and when I do text back, it's so short. I like him a lot, but I'm playing it cool with not making myself so accessible. We haven't even went on a date yet, although he's asked multiple times. We definitely have chemistry in person, but I wonder if I told him no too many times. Although he seems to be a nice guy, some things that are giving red flags is he has 4 kids with 4 baby mamas. We're going to address this, okay? We're going to have a conversation about this. And the youngest is only 6. It gets worse. He's 51. And I'm 35. And I wonder if he's just lusting after me. Point is, am I delusional for waiting for this man to continue to pursue me, although he has made 4 broken homes and don't even call me? I need your perspective, please. Okay, Firebird. So, you know what? I'm not even going to BS you. I was going to BS you for a second. I'm not going to BS you. You have no business messing with the man with 4 kids and 4 baby mamas. Like, you need to, I really think what's really happening here is you were never interested in this guy for real. I think what you liked is this persistency. So you see this right here? I love when guys are super assertive. See, this persistency is like a form of validation because it makes you feel good internally that even when you tell a guy no, he doesn't want to give up and he's going to be in constant pursuit of you. It's like flattering that he wants you so badly that he'll continue to pursue you even though you tell him you don't want to be with him. And see, here's the really interesting part about this is I don't think you ever wanted him any more than you did before because you didn't want him before. I think the process of him pursuing you and the good and emotions you felt in the process of him being in heavy pursuit of you, despite you saying no, that validation feeling that you felt, you became overwhelmed by and you became attached to, which is why the main issue that you start having is that his pursuit of you went from being this and so intense to being a little bit pulled back. And see, the thing about it is you didn't have any problems or issues when he was intensely pursuing you. But the moment he pulls back, now you're thinking to yourself, look at this. A guy you didn't even like before. All he did was pursue you heavy. Now you're like, we have chemistry, in person, all this stuff. Now see, look, you're a guy you didn't even think anything of. You're questioning yourself if you did the wrong thing by saying no. You're questioning yourself if you did the wrong thing by saying like things like this, but I told him men don't exist to me after 10 p.m., right? You're now, because the validation has been pulled back, you're now thinking, oh, I was too mean. I should have been nicer. I should have been more accommodating so that he could want me more, right? It's so funny. Every time we have a message, it like directly applies to what we're discussing. It was like you were thinking to yourself, I should be more likable, which is how I will get him to be more interested in me and pursue me more. Okay. And you kind of wanted to go back on this. And the funny thing about it is the moment you stop being this person, he'll stop pursuing you, because part of the thing he enjoys as well is the pursuit. The problem is, though, you don't actually even like this guy. You like the pursuit that he gives you. Because I'll just be so real with you. Unless you're in a position where you actually are excited to be his fifth baby mother and have his fifth child and be in literally a line of 5. Actually, you're in a line of, you'll be priority number 10. So he's got his 4 kids. Then he's got his 4 baby mamas who also need his attention. So that's 8 priorities right there. Then he'll have his child with you, which will be probably priority number 9. And then you will be happy priority number 10 in that man's life. How happy for you to be someone's 10th priority. That's before you even get to God, okay? Because this is a man who goes to church, and obviously he is serious about his faith. So actually you're kind of out of the top 10 because God's got to go up there at number 1 as well. Oh, and his family, probably loves his mother, probably has some siblings. So maybe you might crack the top 15. Yeah. Top 15 for you, maybe, if you're really good. If you can do some really good cooking and cleaning, top 15 for you maybe one day, right? So let's be for real. Unless you're trying to be competing for spot 15 in his life in terms of priorities, I don't even think that this is a relationship you necessarily need to be entertaining. Oh, I forgot to mention, he probably has grandkids in there too, so those got to go up there. You might be in 25, right? Because he's 51, so he's going to start having grandkids. If he doesn't already, he's going to start having grandkids soon. So maybe spot 25 or something like that, right? So unless you're actually like prepared to be that low on the totem pole, I would advise you to not even be messing with this man, which is why I'm trying to say it must be the validation that you're actually attracted to, because any real logic would tell you, no matter how amazing this guy is, there's no future to this relationship. Like, what is the future? You become, literally, the only possible future here is you become his 5th baby mother and have his 5th child. And, one of the, most popular sayings is that, if everyone has a problem with you, eventually after a while, you have to look at yourself because you're the problem. Because it can't just be everyone that you come across that has a problem with you because they have problems. Eventually it's you that has a problem because you're the common denominator. So I'm not saying this to say this guy's a horrible guy or anything. I don't know this guy, but 4 kids with 4 baby mamas, that is, I'm not going to say the kids are a mistake, but that is 4 misjudgments of a relationship, because I'm assuming he had babies with girls he thought he was going to be with for the rest of his life. That's 4 mistakes in terms of judgment and relationships, where in some way, shape, or form, he was contributing to the ending of all 4 of those relationships. And so the process of that is you need to start thinking to yourself, if this is someone that in 4 tries couldn't get it right, what makes me think that I'm going to be different? Okay. So Firebird, I think you need to reevaluate if you even actually want this relationship, because I don't think you do. I think you want the validation and the pursuit, but I don't think when it comes to actually building out this relationship and being someone's fifth baby mother, I just don't think that that's what you actually want. Maybe it is, and I'm confused, but I don't think that's what you actually would be happy with when you think about being in a real relationship with him. And so if that's the case, then why are you concerned about building a relationship with someone where you wouldn't even like or enjoy the end goal of being the 5th baby mama? It's very cringe. Very cringe, okay? So that's my perspective. I actually think you need to leave this man alone, because I don't think that anything you would develop with this man would benefit you in the future in terms of having a happy, healthy relationship. 4 baby mamas is just too much. Sometimes you just got to leave people for themselves, okay? And not involve yourself in mess. So next we have Baluma's twin. Okay, that's an interesting name. Baluma asks, am I overthinking this? Hey, Tomisin, Before I start, I just wanted to say I'm a big fan, and I love that you give a lot of real, genuine advice about the dating game and men in general. Thank you for all you do for us. I appreciate you. Okay. Basically, I'm 22-year-old female talking to a guy who's a 26-year-old male that I met at my previous job. I didn't like him at first, but he actually won me over after we started to hang out a lot. And when I started to get to know him better, we've been talking for maybe 2 months, but seeing each other more exclusively the last month. He's painfully shy and an awkward guy, but he's been really great so far. Very consistent, sweet, considerate, a great communicator, and very much matches the type of guy I've been looking for. So good so far. I see him 2 or 3 times a week, and he even told me about 3 or 4 days ago that he wanted to ask me to be his girlfriend after a couple more dates, because he wanted to ask after something more special than our usual late night hangouts at my apartment. We both work during the day and only have time at night, and he lives with his parents, so I can't go over there. And I'm very much okay with that. All right. My issue stems from his ex. Okay. This is where we get thrown off. Not that he talks to her still, as far as I know, but after your live yesterday about the story where the guy basically paused his relationship with a new girl he was seeing over his unsustainable ex, it got me scared. The guy I'm seeing has only had one real relationship, and that was his ex. They were together for 8 years. From high school up until October of last year. And she left him. Because according to him, she felt unappreciated and felt like he was too complacent. Okay, we got to have to dive into this. I actually gave him advice like 4 months ago on how to get her. What's happening here? I gave him advice like 4 months ago on how to get her back. That didn't work because she's probably long gone by now. So I'm assuming you're saying when you guys weren't in a relationship, right? When you guys weren't in a relationship because you met him. I'm confused. You've been talking for maybe 2 months. Okay, so 4 months ago, before you were talking, you gave him advice on how to get her back. Okay. And doesn't want anything to do with him. Sorry, she's long gone by now and doesn't want anything to do with him. The guy I'm seeing doesn't talk about her much and says he's over her, but I don't know if I believe it. I'm really curious how long it's been. I hope you say that. How can you just get over an 8-year relationship where she was basically his first everything? He even lived with her at her parents' house for several years before she kicked him out. Oh God. I'm glad you have this information, but this is concerning. He won't even tell me specifically why the relationship. Now it's not good. He won't even tell me why the relationship specifically ended because he isn't comfortable telling me yet. Paloma, this is not good. And yeah, okay, let's keep reading. Is it a good idea to continue seeing him and just letting things play out? Sorry. He's a great guy and really hasn't given me a reason to doubt him at all. But 8 years is a long time. And I don't think the feelings go away after 8 months. Thank you for telling me this because I was so curious. 8 months it's been since he ended a relationship of 8 years in which he lived with her at her parents' house for several years of that time. of not being with her. It makes me scared that he might leave me for her if she ever comes back, because something similar has happened before and it crushed me. He has made it clear that he likes me and wants to be with me, but I just don't know. I know. It also doesn't help that he talks a lot about wanting to move back in the city she's in. Oh no. And mentions to me how he wants to drive up there to shop. Shop, right? Shop. Because the stores up there are better. Yeah, better than online shopping, which is probably accurate because there isn't much to do in my country. LOL. What about online shopping? But how much of this is true? What if he's going to the city because he secretly hopes to see her? What do you think? I know after a bad breakup, I do everything I can to avoid even possibly coming across my ex, yet he obviously isn't thinking the same way. Am I losing my mind over nothing? Sorry, I cut off for you guys there. Am I losing my mind over nothing? Or am I right and something might be off? It caused me to distance myself from him because I don't want to be hurt again. Okay, advice. So thank you for this message, Baluma's twin. I always am weary of telling you guys things that will make you give you more anxiety than you need to have. But I do think, in all honesty, dating someone for 8 years, that you live with, like that's like damn near like you know what I mean? Like you're on the verge of getting engaged at that point, dating someone for 8 years. Even if they started dating and at 18, they'll be 26. Like you'll be prepared to get engaged by that point. And so to break up with someone, they always say that the saying is it takes about half the time of the relationship to really get over the relationship. You know, I kind of believe that, to be honest with you. Now, obviously, that's not a hard, fast mathematical rule, but I can definitely assure you that an 8-year-long relationship in which you live at their house, live at their parents' house. So it's not even that he just lived with her and grew a bond with her. He grew a bond with her family, right? Like he was basically like their son. So very, very close knit to them and everything they got going on. So he's bonded to multiple people there. And so to be 8 years with someone, I'm sorry to tell you, Baluma, but that does not disappear in 8 months. There's just no chance. I don't care how much work he does, self-healing he does. That type of like 8 years of your life in a romantic relationship with someone, that's like a marriage. But most people don't even get married for 5 years, and he's been with her for 8. Especially since you're young, that's like all you know. And you said first everything. So that's literally, she's all he knows. You're literally assuming he started dating you or seeing you after he broke up with his girl. You're literally the first experience of another woman that he's even had in his entire life outside of his ex. And I don't want to say that to scare you. I just want to say that to tell you how unrealistic it would be for us to pretend as if his feelings are gone for her. And you're right in saying that you don't think his feelings are gone for her. And the fact that he is not willing to tell you, he won't specifically tell you why the relationship ended because he isn't comfortable telling you. That just tells me that there's still a lot of fresh feelings that he has there for the situation, which none of that is makes him a bad person. But the thing about it is, if he's going to explore a new relationship, he has to be healed from that previous one. And if he still has a lot of, unresolved feelings and emotions towards her, this is not going to end well. It's already not good for the position that you're in, but it definitely won't be good if for any reason his ex pops back into his life. You're basically hanging on to the hope that his ex will never hit him up. His ex will never miss him. His ex will never ask to come see him, or he'll never even have any reason to come across his ex ever again. Because it sounds like this man is very weak, in a very, very mentally unstable position when it comes like emotionally. And so if he were to see her or come across her or have a conversation with her, I can 100% guarantee you it would not be looking very good for you. And I just have to be so real with you. And I think that I would be lying to you if I advised you. I would be not a good friend of yours if I advise you to invest yourself into a relationship in which I know this is the case. Because truthfully and honestly, you're hanging on by the thread and the hope that he doesn't see her or speak to her or come across her. And all this, I want to go to the mall because the malls are better. I want to go to the store because the stores are better. Look. I want to drive up. I want to drive up to the city because the stores there are better. The stores there are better. I want to drive up and see the stores and shop because I want to shop till I drop. Let's be so for real. Like, he wants to see her. He wants the hope of maybe coming across her, drive by her house. I've been there. We've all been there. Okay. And so, yeah, this whole thing, he wants to see her. Magically, he wants to move back to the city that she's in. Really? That's where he wants to move back to? The city? Well, oh, the street too? Oh, he wants to move across the street from her? Oh, he wants to move in her bed. Oh, in her room too? He wants to sleep in her bed? Like, be for real, okay? None of this is a coincidence, okay? And you're smart, at least, for starting to think for yourself and realize that this is not a coincidence, because it's not. And I actually think that you should be distancing yourself from this guy for your own well-being, because I don't think he can't even help himself, because I'm sure after being in a relationship for 8 years, he really wants to project his feelings onto someone else so that he doesn't have to feel all of that pain of the old relationship. And so for him, it actually is more beneficial to be with you and not think about his old relationship, which is what seems like what he's trying to do. But it only ends up hurting you in the end, because when he goes back to his ex, or he has a bunch of confused feelings if his ex pops back into his life, you end up being the one holding the bag, sitting there like, what happened? And so I think for your own well-being, you're best served to distance yourself from this guy, because he needs to go through at least 2 years out of the relationship before we can even consider him being properly healed from the relationship, truthfully and honestly. Okay. So I think you do need to distance yourself from that situation. Next we have Sisinora. I think we did one, maybe it's just a similar name. Sisinora says, how do I get him to finally hit on me? There's a man that is super interested in me at the gym. He's extremely shy, so am I. How do I give him the confidence to hit on me without coming across as masculine? I actually already answered this one. I know he's interested because he follows me around the gym every time and stares for me for 2 hours straight. He seems quite very introverted and shy, doesn't speak to any girls there, just works out and leaves. I think at the gym, you're kind of at a loss here, because people aren't really going to approach each other at the gym. The most you can do is honestly give eye contact. If the eye contact doesn't work, then you're out of luck there, because unless you're planning to go up to him and speak to him, eye contact's the only thing you can use to kind of stimulate him coming up to you. And if he doesn't come up to you, then maybe he wasn't as interested in you as you thought. Okay. If he follows you around the gym, sounds very strange. Okay. Is he actually following you around the gym, or you're imagining that because you like the guy? Okay. I don't know about that one. Right. But eye contact is really all you can do if it's a gym situation. There's not really much else you can do. Rock bottom. Sushila says, I think Sushila's been in the TikTok chat really wanting to get her question answered. So I hope Sushila's here to see me answer her question. So Sushila says, in a relationship for 1 year, within 2 months, he was living with me and my 2 kids. Oh my God. This is going to be, I can already tell by we started off like this. This is going to be like a horror story. 2 months and he's living with you. 2 months. One of which he let call him dad. So you're saying one of your kids let call him dad and got a tattoo on his arm of her name. In 2 months, this happened. Said he had strict parents and is okay if they got to know me before he told them I had kids. So I agreed. What? he got to know me before he told them, okay. I met 2 times as I live. Guys, I really need you guys to spell check this stuff because this is a very bad reading experience for everyone if you don't spell check this stuff. I met 2 times as I live in a HR firm. Then he lived with me and traveled to work. He told me he was on a good wage and spoilt me, paid half the rent. Few months ago, our flat tenancy ending soon, need to think of moving. We were gonna move closer to his mom, to where his mom lives. He's saying he depressed, then one weekend had an argument within 8 hours. His dad was outside, packed all his okay. Sushila, I do want to answer your question. I need you to repackage this question and you need to write it out like you would an essay format. Okay. This is a classroom. Okay. And we need to practice our skills, our writing skills here. This is not, we're not going to message as if we're just casually texting because it becomes very confusing for the audience and the read along is very painful when we're all trying to interpret what you mean. So copy your message, put it back in your Microsoft Word and spell check it, read it over and make sure it makes sense, make sure it's cohesive, and then resend your message because I can't be reading something like this jumbled up mess that nobody can really follow. And then we have to spend 3 times the amount of time trying to decipher what it is you're trying to say. You see how everyone else's question is structured, like the person that just went before you, and is putting it in plain English where we can all read it and understand what's going on. That needs to be your message as well. I can't answer messages like this when they're all jumbled up in like broken English. It's like you typed it really quickly but didn't go over it at all, okay? If you're going to send a long message, that's fine, but it needs to be cohesive so everyone can read it and understand it and give you a good detailed answer and response, okay? So redo your message and I'll answer it when you redo it. Just go ahead and resubmit. Reindeer hustle. Help me, please. Young girl, old man. Reindeer Hustle says, hey, I've been dating a 31-year-old and I'm 21. We've been dating for 4 months now. He hasn't given me any red flags so far. He gives me takeouts, takes me out on dates and gives me money. But sometimes I feel like he is trying to guilt trip me because I have high standards and like to upkeep them. But whenever I ask for more money, this is the craziest run-on sentence ever, by the way, okay? But because he asked for more money, more gifts, he tells me that his mother has been begging him for money, that everyone uses him and begs him for money. But I feel as if, so do you use commas instead of periods? Is that like your thing? But I feel as if he is trying to make me feel bad for wanting the things I want. So I sometimes don't voice it as I don't want to be a consistent burden if he's really struggling. But at the same time, I see the sort of incomes he makes and how much he spends on pointless things like gambling, food. What do I do? I feel like if I walked in with a lot of confidence, if I walked in with a lot of confidence, but now I feel more bad for him to ask him for the things I want, but it feels like a part of manipulation. He likes to say things like, are you using me when I ask him for money or gifts? It's not like he does it all the time, as he has gifted me and does give me money, take me out on dates. And I do understand that people's financial situation can be up and down, but I'm young and believe that I deserve high quality things, as that is what I crave from a relationship. Thank you for advising us. You are the best. God bless you. Thank you. So Reindeer Hustle. See, I'm not here to tell you whether the way you want to live your life is right or wrong. Okay. I'm not going to judge that. But as it relates to this relationship and what you want out of this relationship, So if it is that you just want his money, because I didn't see anything, I'm just going by what you said. I didn't really see anything here about the actual relationship. I just saw your only concern be about how much money he could spend on you. That seemed to be the only thing you were worried about, which is fine. I'm not here to judge. But if that's the case, then I think you're probably better off just finding a man who will like sponsor you. I'm not sure what's the point of trying to elicit money and gifts out of a man who seems to be reluctant to give those things to you. You're better off finding a situation where a man will literally just gift you and just give you money for your time. I think in terms of what you seem to be looking for, that would be more in line with the type of relationship you want. I think that if you find yourself on a different page than this guy because the amount of gifts or money he's giving you is not in line with how much you think you deserve, then I think you're probably better off trying to go and find a guy who will give you that. I don't think it really serves you to sit here and beg him for more money and more gifts because it's not really, you have to understand the whole idea of giving money and gifts is to show his appreciation for you and to tell you how much he loves you and cares about you. But it stops being a gift or appreciation when you're constantly asking for it. And if he feels like if he's saying things like, are you using me, right, for asking for money and gifts? Like I said, I'm not here to tell you whether that's right or wrong, but if he's saying that himself, then that probably means that the amount you're asking or the amount of focus you have on that is rubbing him the wrong way, which is why he's bringing that up. And from your message, based on what you said, I don't really see anything here about the actual emotional relationship. I just see about money and gifts, which is fine. But I think that you're in a relationship with someone who, while they might have disposable income and like you and want to spend time with you, I think that they're a bit more emotionally invested in the feelings and emotions of the relationship than you are, which is fine. But I think you're probably better off finding someone who is more invested in the money and the financial transaction of a relationship than the guy that you're in a relationship with currently. Because a guy who's more invested in the transaction will probably just give you money or give you an allowance that you can have every week or every month. And then, you won't have to worry about money or gifts. He'll just give that to you all the time. And in exchange, you'll give him your time. So you can do that, and that can be your life. Perfectly fine with me. It doesn't bother me. But I think you're probably better off not begging a man for money and gifts, because I don't think you're going to get any more out of him, especially when he already feels like you're using him. So I think the best thing is for you to take a step back, stop asking him for so much money and gifts. That's when you might actually see some more money and gifts. And just allow him to give you money or gifts when he actually feels it's genuine to him. And then also, if you really don't like how this is going, go find a man who will literally just give you an allowance every week and literally say, I'll just pay you for your time. That would probably suit you and suit the guy way better, because then nobody's confused about feelings or manipulation or being used for money. You can get all his money and not have to worry about anything. So that's my advice to you, Reindeer Hustle. Okay. I don't judge guys, so I hope you're not expecting me to judge people for their lifestyle. However you want to live your life is perfectly fine with me. Okay, so next we have N. N asks, does my past make me unattractive? Okay, and I'm gonna be honest with you, not gonna BS you. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you from a guy's perspective. I'm 17 years old. Female who's single. Yes, I know. So in the past, I've had multiple boyfriends. You're 17. Not all at once, but at separate times. I've had 6. Is this an English chat? I think I need glasses. I don't know if I can see those words right. That doesn't look right. Does that say 17, chat, or am I tripping? Or does that say 71? Maybe I'm not seeing that right. Does that say 6 or is that what number is that? I don't know if that, I think I'm reading this wrong. Anyways, let's go on. I've had 6. And just because I've dated them doesn't mean I've given them my squirtle. Okay. Only one guy has ever gotten that. So I'm not a gardening tool. You're definitely 17 though. But I'm wondering if the amount of people I've been with make me unattractive or prompt guys to not respect me or take me seriously. Also, I don't even know if this number is a lot because people don't really talk about how many people they've dated. Yeah, mostly that's because, when you're 17, most people haven't dated anyone. So the fact that you're up here about to get into double digits is not good. I think that at 17, dating 6 people, you're boy crazy. And you need to tone it back because at 17, there is so much to your life that needs to be figured out and worked on, and so much that needs your attention at 17 that is not boys. And to be so honestly real with you, I'm not going to BS you. No guy you're going to meet at 17 years old, assuming they're around your age, is going to be prepared to actually be in a relationship with you anyways. They're all still figuring themselves out and their own lives. So you wasting all your time and energy on 6 boyfriends at 17 is literally just a complete waste of your time and energy because none of those guys are prepared to actually be in a relationship at 17. Okay, I'm just going to be so real with you. They have a lot to figure out in life, and that's fine. We're all young and we have things to figure out as life goes on. And like I said, I think you're boy crazy. I'm just going to be so real with you. It's not even about being unattractive. I just think you're boy crazy. And I think that when you're older, you'll regret being this boy crazy when you're this old this young, sorry, because it's a waste of your time and you could be doing a lot better things with your time that will serve you in the future than chasing around boys that you're never going to be in a relationship with anyways. So I think actually instead of worrying about what boys think about you, you need to be worried about what you think about you. So you need to start going to a sport. You need to start figuring out what you enjoy, what hobbies you like. Do you like playing basketball, golf? Do you like makeup? You like YouTube? You like, what do you like? What do you enjoy? You like shoes? You like fashion? What do you enjoy? Go figure that out instead of worrying about what makes you unattractive to boys. And you need to end this at 6. You need to have no more boyfriend. No more boyfriends until you're 26, okay? Before you get your next boyfriend, you need to have a hobby. Have multiple hobbies. Have some passions that you care about that are important to you. Don't worry about what the guys think about you. They're literally 3 years old. They're little boys, okay? It doesn't matter what they think about you. It's super irrelevant anyways. Focus on yourself. You're 17. Focus on what you think about you and don't focus on what validation you can get from guys by doing this or that. Okay? That's my advice to you, Anne. Next we have the queen herself. Okay? The queen herself. What should I do? The queen herself asked, I have a question about my situation. I met someone. We live in different states. And I had a wonderful time with him. Later, he visited me for a few days. Okay. Everything was nice, good, and romantic, but honestly, his self-image and confidence annoy me a lot. Okay, interesting. He thinks very highly of himself. What is the username here? The queen herself. Huh. And can because he indeed is very handsome and successful. But me too. What annoys me most is that he often doesn't reply for days. When I tell him that this bothers me, you tell him that? He says I should probably find someone without That's amazing. That's the best thing I've ever seen. When I tell him this bothers me, he said I should probably find someone without ambitions, basically accept it or leave. Hmm. You know what, the queen herself, I don't BS you guys here. This is what you should be doing to him. You should be the one not texting him, not, having conversation over text. That when he reaches out to you and asks you why you're not texting and stuff like that, you say, I don't got time to sit down and be texting. I got things to do, places to be. I'm not going to sit out on the phone and get to know you over the phone. You want to see me? Come see me. That's what you should be saying to him. Not complaining about how much it bothers you that he doesn't text you. What this is his insecurity hiding behind security. You're called the queen herself. You're saying you think very highly of yourself, but ironically, it makes you feel insecure when someone else is secure. Quite interesting. Okay? Because if you were truly secure, it wouldn't bother you if someone else is secure or believes in themselves. See, it seems to me, we haven't finished reading here, but it seems to me that this is actually insecurity masquerading around as security. And when someone else is confident in themselves, right, it bothers you because you're not actually confident and secure in yourself. It's fake confidence. So when you see someone with real confidence, you become insecure. Let's go on. Okay. So when I tell him it bothers me, he says I should probably find someone without ambitions, basically saying accept or leave it. It's true. If you want a man that makes money, that goes out, does things with his life, does not a couch potato sitting on his butt to text you around all day, then you're going to be with the man who has ambitions and, has things to do. If you want a guy that will sit on FaceTime with you till 4 a.m. all day, every day, and talk to you on the phone 24 hours a day, you can get that. But just know that you'll be paying the bills. Just know that you'll be paying for the rent. Just know that you'll be trying to pick that man off the floor to get him motivated to do something with his life. So you can have either or. Whichever one you want is fine with me. For me, it's about respect. How did he disrespect you? I'm not going to be on your sides, guys, just because this is the Players Club and you guys asked me a question. How did this man disrespect you? By setting a boundary, by telling you he's not going to text you like a text buddy, like a pen pal. I don't expect an immediate response, but 3 to 5 days is really too much. That's fair. 3 to 5 days is a long time, but if he's told you he's not interested in texting, then he's told you he's not interested in texting. I don't think he ever said to you that he's not interested in you or is not interested in actually spending real time with you. He's just not interested in texting. That's not a crime. Okay, I'll be the first one to let you know. You're not going to marry the best texter, or you shouldn't be marrying the best texter. Okay, but 3 to 5 days is really too much. No one is that busy. He realizes it sometimes, responds faster for a while, and then goes back to the old pattern. Once again, this is texting. How do you feel about the relationship in real life? Okay, how do you feel about the relationship in real life and the real person? But then there are moments where he acts extremely in love, says very sweet things, sends me flowers, etc. Okay, so the actions he's taking, like sending you flowers. By the way, I hope you would listen to a lot of these people in the chat, okay? A lot of them would literally, they would give their left arm to be with the guy that would even send them flowers. Some of them can't even get a guy to take them out on a date. So just keep that in mind. He also watches my stories less frequently, so probably he's actually not on the phone. Okay, like it's actually like he's actually not on the phone. Or doesn't like my posts much anymore. Maybe he's actually doing something with his life instead of scrolling through your Instagram. I feel like he's following some kind of strategy by having a life. Almost as if he's watching your videos and applying your tips. Maybe. No, you know what? Valid. Maybe he's watching my videos and applying them to you. That could be possible. I can't ignore that as a possibility. I ignored him for a few days, and now suddenly he's writing and calling again. Shocker. When you finally take a step back and stop begging for his attention, he actually has space to desire you. Didn't pick up, Too busy. I'm shocked that you were too busy. What should I do next? Nothing. He did say he wanted to see me again. Great. That's great. So the interest in there, that's great. It's exactly what you want. But he is not as obsessed as I want him to be. Oh my God. Likely because he didn't have to chase me much. I wonder why. Should I start playing hard to get or act uninterested more? Okay. The queen herself. You need to understand. Take a page from your own book. The moment you ignored him is the moment he started writing and calling and texting you again. I wonder why he did that. Because instead of you talking about, why don't you text me more? I just want you to text me more. You don't watch my stories. Why don't you watch my stories? What are you doing all day that you don't want to text me more? It's like you don't even care about. Instead of being like that, when you finally took a step back, he actually had some space to think to himself, well, gee, I'm not texting her. Well, gee, I'm not talking to her. I actually want to talk to her. I actually want to text her. Let me reach out to her. This is why I always tell you guys, let the men cook. You get so much anxiety that the guy is going to forget about you if he doesn't text you every single day of his life, every single second that he exists, that like any time spent away from you, now you're thinking that's the end of the relationship. When in reality, if you would just relax and take a chill pill and let his own feelings for you cook, and for him to come to his own realizations of how much he wants to spend time with you, he would come to that realization, and then he would make the effort of spending time with you. Literally, it's so crazy. The sliver that you gave him, where you stepped away for just a second, literally just a second you stepped away, and he came right to you. All you had to do was step back for a second. Instead of smothering him by telling, why don't you text me? Why don't you do that? Why don't you call? Why don't you want to see? You're like a buzzing by his ear. You're like a gnat, like a fly, just buzzing by his ear all day. How can he possibly desire you in that state? It's impossible. So you have to take a step back. Okay. You're talking about you want him to be more obsessed with you. So take several steps back. That's how he becomes more obsessed with you. Not by begging him to text you more. I hope the queen, I hope you did not bring up to him not watching your stories and things like that. You will sound like a child. If this is a grown man with a life that has things to do, and you're talking to him about how he doesn't watch your stories, you will sound like the most insecure, anxious woman on this planet. If you're talking about how he doesn't watch your stories and things like that, or like your posts, get so for real. No man is going to be obsessed with you when you're in a state like that. That is ultimate desperation. You're sitting at home checking the stories that you post to see if he's looking at your stories, or seeing if he's liking your post, and you're to the point where you're actually getting flustered and frustrated that he's not liking your post on Instagram. Get so for real. No guy is gonna be attracted to you when you're in a state that desperate. I have to be so real with you. And if you actually want him to be obsessed with you, you need to take several steps back, because that is not a place where he'll be able to be obsessed with you. Okay? He said he wanted to see you. Obviously, he's interested in you. He's just not a texter. That is not a crime. It's actually a good thing, because you're not going to get to know each other on any deep, intimate level by texting each other a whole bunch of meaningless paragraphs. Because you can text someone 24/7, and then when you finally meet them in person, the energy is totally different. That should tell you that you don't really know people over text. Okay? And that's not really a real way to actually get to know someone. Okay, I hate to burst your bubble. I know you probably love texting. You're a textaholic, like I've been talking about, some of you are, but that ain't it. That's not where you want to be. That's not where you want to be. You need to pull back if you really want him to do some chasing after you. Okay? So we'll leave it at that for today. Don't worry if I didn't answer your question. I will answer your question tomorrow or the next day. We got lots of time to answer questions. I answer questions every day on the Discord. If you have a question for me and you want to submit your situation, please go into, if you're on TikTok, go into the link in my bio, click that link, open it in browser. Make sure you do, to make sure you can join the Players Club and ask your question in the relationship advice section. If you're on YouTube, you just go down on the link in the description, and my Discord link's at the bottom where you can go to the relationship advice section and ask your question as well. If you just love me so much you want to follow me, you can go onto my Instagram. You can follow me and scroll down on my Instagram and see every place I've been, everything I've been doing since I ended up here in front of you before. Okay. And if you are like, yo, this is the best show ever. I love this so much. This is so awesome. It's so amazing. I want to see this a million times over again. I want to see all the points and all the shows you've done in the past. You could just head over to my YouTube's right on top of me there. Oh, for those of you on YouTube, you already know. It's right on top of my face there on the right side of your screen, and you can follow me, screenshot that, or just type in my name on YouTube and you can follow me there on YouTube. Go in the live section and you'll see all of the live videos I've done in the past with the TikTok and YouTube live chat embedded, so that you can follow along with all the conversation that's happening, because sometimes you guys be having a whole separate conversation while we're in the process of having this conversation here. So quite interesting to be able to follow along there. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'm also on live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So whatever time that is in your time zone, make sure you are there for that time. Electric Feel. Let's give a quick round of applause to Electric Feel. Electric Feel just gets donated a super chat of $20. Okay, $20. She donated in the super chat on YouTube there. So thank you so much, Electric Feel. I really appreciate that so much. And I love you so much for that. Thank you guys all that donate. Okay, so like I said, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, where we will talk again about love, life, and relationships. So please make sure you are there and ready to go for that. Be there or be square. Until then, arrivederci, au revoir, goodbye, hasta la vista for now. Until later, when we meet again once more.